Hello and welcome to this very special edition of Aging and Awesome. I'm Kai Sisson.
And I'm Joe Delaripa, and here's what's coming up.
Today we're here at Lakeside Manor where the entire show will be an intergenerational discussion. We have a panel of 4 wonderful people from our community, ages 26 to 78 years old. Each will be discussing with Joe and I things such as ageism, relationships and marriage, and this one I'm pretty excited about, what stresses you out?
Well, this is going to be fascinating and exciting, and I'm looking forward to it, to meeting the people and hearing all about it.
Aging and Awesome begins right now.
You got me running wild, you make me feel alive. Oh, maybe wanna believe. Oh, I feel your heart and soul, perfectly in control. Put up and count in your spell now. So lay it on me, child. You know you drive me wild. You got me feeling like, oh, she make me feel alive, make me feel alive. She make me feel alive, make me feel alive. She make me feel alive.
Well, no one is exempt. We are all aging. So let's talk about it. Joining us on the show today is Hannah Tyler. Hannah is a radio DJ for Cable 98.1, dedicated to advancing her career, improving her health, and raising awareness for charitable causes like St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. When not at work, Hannah can be found at the gym or a corner coffee shop. Hobbies include sewing, cooking, and podcasting. Hannah is 26 years old. Cody Zamora is a registered nurse for Infinity Hospice Care. He has worked trauma ICU at Renown for almost 7 years after graduating, and then hospice ever since. He has 2 daughters and stays active all 4 seasons, from snowmobiling in the winter to boating and camping in the summer. Cody is 44 years old. George Crozet lives in Truckee, California. He and his wife have 2 children and 5 grandchildren. George's website, getoffthecouchandgo.com, is designed to inspire the masses to get up and keep moving. He's an active athlete himself, competing in just about everything from snow and water sports to track and field and motorsports. George is 69 years old. And finally, Dr. Bev Starr. She has lived in Reno for more than 50 years, is a retired educator, and has a PhD from the UNR School of Education. Married twice for a total of 45 plus years and currently a widow, Bev is very active socially and throughout her church, playing beanbag baseball and bocce ball 2 or 3 times a week. And she walks at least 2 miles per day. Right on. Bev is 78 years old. Welcome, everybody. We're going to open up the show with kind of a heavy topic. Ageism. Have any of you ever been affected by ageism?
Oh, for sure. Like, I'm 26, and I think when you're starting your career and trying to be like a young professional, people look at you and they're like, oh, well, you're just in your 20s. What do you know? And you kind of get written off, even if you know what you're talking about.
Absolutely. Or a dumb, lazy millennial?
Yes, or a dumb, lazy millennial, which we are not. Not all of us are like that.
Now, maybe on the other side of the couch, have you ever gotten old geezer? You can't do that.
I have.
Yes.
When I was starting my teaching career, I was in kind of middle age-ish, and everybody else, including my principal, was younger than I was.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm told constantly you're too old to be doing that, and I said apparently you don't know who I am, and visit the website and we'll turn you around.
Get up off the couch and go.
Yeah.
Love it, love it. It is definitely something that permeates throughout our society, a society that values, youth and beauty, and doesn't realize that there's so much youth and beauty in being older too. Cody, you're 44.
I am.
Great, and a registered nurse
Yes,
with Infinity.
right. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. I'll open this up to all of you, just so you haven't spoke yet, but have maybe you ever stereotyped someone incorrectly?
Yeah, I mean, I can honestly say I have. You just assume when you see somebody that's elderly sometimes, that they might have limitations. But I try to at least have the conversation with them and ask them. You see somebody with a walker, a wheelchair, things like that. You just can't assume because they'll surprise you. Actually, I've learned that many times.
Absolutely. On Aging and Awesome, right?
On Aging and Awesome, that's right.
I've had that experience. I manage a beanbag baseball team. It's a team of seniors, but we have a woman on our team who's 93. And when she first started playing with us, I'm like, no, this is not going to work, you know. And then we've graduated. We have people with walkers. We have people on oxygen who are playing with us. So we really include everybody, and it's great.
But I feel like, and maybe you guys could talk this more, like, I have 2 grandmas who are so spry and they're always active. I mean, the one's 86 and she's still running active in her church. Like, there's crazy, like, I wish I had her energy. Do you almost feel like as you get older, aging comes from like more mental than physical? So I think a lot of people will, maybe they look at you, Bev, as 78 and they're like, oh, you just, yes, you look older, but you're not, because your mind is still active and you're still working that way.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think it depends on what's inside.
Yeah.
What's on the outside at all.
And that's absolutely true. It's all what's in your heart and what's in your mind. Society's been told for so long that you get to this age, you can't do this, you get to this age, you can't do that. And I've had experience of some of the most incredible people of age or disabilities who are still out performing at top levels or just performing to do something. You never discount somebody's by their appearance, either their age or their body type, because I've been I pulled up on a start gate in a motocross race one time. There's a quite large man next to me. I thought, I got this guy. I never saw him again after that. He was gone. And right then I said, never ever discount somebody until you know who they are.
I love that. Absolutely. So any ideas, how can society start looking past these stereotypes?
I think with what the show you're doing is an incredible venue to do that with. To show what people are capable of doing. A prime example, I ski race with a gentleman who's 90 years old. He's not skiing, he's ski racing.
Dang.
And when people see more of these stories of these people, they'll go, okay, I'm 44 and my hip hurts, so I can't go do something.
Right.
So I didn't say I can't.
So
try,
but exactly. Yeah. So, but you know, there's always something out there for someone to do. Yeah. And I tell people all the time, find an activity that you can be passionate about, because you'll share that passion with them, and then you're all going to discuss, well, how can I get through this? How can I do that? And by showcasing more of these people, all it's going to do is make the rest of society realize that, hey, because I get to a certain age, I'm not done. I'm just getting rolling.
We can
Right
can
on.
and cannot do all sorts of different things at every stage of life, right? Every age. Miss Jo?
Yeah, I'm enjoying listening to this, because at my age, which I will be 86 next month, I still am fortunate that I don't have any disabilities, but mostly I think it's in my mind. I want to do it. I'll try to do it. I'll give it all I got, and so I'm not afraid. I think sometimes people are afraid to fail, and so they don't want to try it. So I mean, don't be afraid. Just give it a go and do the best you can, and you'll find that you'll surprise yourself. You go, gee, I didn't know I could do that, and I think that's very important.
Absolutely. You'll surprise yourself. You hit that right on point.
So, George, if you don't mind me asking, you have a website. When you started this website and developing it, I'm assuming you faced ageism there, because I've even been guilty of it, trying to help my grandma with her iPad, and she doesn't know how to work it, and you kind of go, oh, well, Grandma, you're not as young as you used to be.
So you were at my Instagram instruction the other day?
Oh, you're on the gram, too. Look at you go.
Going, oh, my God, it's so simple. No, it's not.
Instagram.
You know, when I started it out just as a fluke, I lived in Big Bear Lake for 35 years, Southern California. Oh. And a friend of mine said, yeah, I went skiing in the morning, I went surfing in the afternoon. I thought, well, I can do that. And then it just gradually built up, and then I'd do 10 events in that day. And I've had a lot of people go, I didn't think I could do it because I thought at my age I'm not supposed to. And I said, no, that's coming from here and here, and let's show you how to get through that door of intimidation. Let's hold that door open for you. And generally when you do, and you get them through that door, it's like, get out of their way. They're on a roll. But everybody needs that little bit of push to get through there, and know that it's okay to fail. And what is failing? Failing's not even trying. That's failing.
Right.
Going out there and not being competitive, whatever. Who cares? Most people don't care how good or how bad you are. They want you to come and join their passion.
That's absolutely right. Thank you so much, everybody. We still have more to come on this very special edition of Aging and Awesome.
The way people meet, marry, and stay together sure has changed. We continue our panel discussion on relationships and marriage after this short break.
But first, let's give a huge thank you to the people who make Aging and Awesome possible every week.
Lend a hand in home care and transportation.
Senior Care Plus,
Morning Star Senior Living.
AARP of Nevada,
Caring Transitions.
Miracle Ear,
Infinity Hospice Care.
Lakeside Manor,
The Continuum.
and Gastroenterology Consultants.
We are now accepting new sponsorships for Season 2. Interested in becoming a part of this informative, enlightening, and inspirational show? Contact us at agingandawesome@gmail.com today.
At Senior Care Plus, we're more than just a Medicare Advantage plan. We're your local experts in helping you understand the facts about Medicare so you can make the best decision for your health. Confused about Medicare? Then you'll want to attend our educational seminar on the ABCs of Medicare. This is not a sales meeting. It is a free seminar where you'll learn about all of your Medicare options so you can make the right choice. ABCs of Medicare. Reserve your seat today. Call or visit seniorcareplus.com.
At Caring Transitions, we often hear people say they wish they had heard of us years earlier. Relocating and downsizing can be stressful and overwhelming. As the nation's largest professional resource for household liquidation, we offer a total solution to handle every aspect of your move. Maybe you're looking to have an estate sale, downsize to a smaller home, or simply reduce years of clutter. Our experts can help. Contact Caring Transitions. We can help make life easier for your family.
Someone you love needs a little help with the ins and outs of day-to-day living.
Compassion-driven quality care. That has been the Lend a Hand way for the last 26 years. We have helped thousands of seniors with personal care, light housekeeping, transportation, and more. Still family-owned and operated. Visit lendahandss.com today.
Lend a hand, lend a hand. Our caregivers make the difference.
Hi, I'm Laura. My grandkids love to play in our garden, and now I don't miss a moment with them, thanks to Miracle Ear. When I went in for my free hearing evaluation, my hearing specialist did tests to find out if I even had hearing loss. It turns out I did, and I'm not alone.
Miracle Ear has 3 locations in northern Nevada: Reno, Sparks, and Carson City. Call and make your appointment today. Miracle Ear. Hear a better day.
Welcome back to Aging and Awesome.
The way people meet, how they meet, and how long they stay together has drastically changed.
It sure has. Let's open this up to the panel. Let's start with social media. So we interact positively, sometimes negatively, with people on social media. How has that, how do you utilize that, and how has that impacted your life?
Wow. Social media, for me, just to meet people, not, because I'm currently, and for a long time I've been married, and hopefully she puts up with me even longer. It's a good way to meet people without having to see them, to kind of get that comfort zone, that safe zone, to feel, okay, this person, I feel a little safe, I know a little bit about them. I know for me to preach what I'm trying to do to get people moving, it's a good way to get that message out to people. And I'm seeing in some of the events that I do, people are meeting each other. Mm-hmm. And a prime example on the Squaw Valley Masters program I'm part of, there's a couple there, they met through skiing.
Oh, okay.
And now they've been together for a couple years of that.
So they weren't on social media for dating, they just happened to be invited to a group where they met.
But now the gal who takes care of my websites and does all my editing and all that, I did an interview of a gentleman who's a fire captain with a prosthetic hook on his left hand. And he's a fire captain.
Wow.
Tremendous successful mountain biker. And so she would ask him questions, email him about the video we did, and they get married next month.
What?
See?
Wow. Joe, how that happens.
Yeah, so that's the ultimate social media.
Now let's talk to the millennial about online dating as she rolls her eyes heavily.
It's a mess. It's a mess. My life has been boiled down to swiping left or right on someone's picture on an app.
Joe, Bev, that's an app that there you go.
Like-
George, sorry, George too. Yeah, it's kind of a new thing.
I don't think it gets much lower than that, but yet what do I do every night before I go to bed? Oh, you're cute. You seem like you have a personality. Like, come on.
Right. And the thing
It's
that
a mess.
I think, and I'd love to hear the people who have been married in the room's opinion on this, is you don't invest in the person that you're with on the app because it's so instant. It's, oh, this one, forget him, forget her. It's not really in time to really be with someone as if when there was no apps, you got to know somebody, right?
George was talking about meeting someone as skiing. I met my husband, Tony, in the gym.
Yeah.
We were both working out. So that's a good place to meet people, too.
You don't even want to know. Like, you don't. I've tried. I've crashed. I have burned miserably. Like, it's tragic.
So there's the organic ways, but then as a millennial, you're kind of forced into this culture of app dating.
Yeah, like if you're not on it, you're weird. Which it's tragic. Like, I just don't know how to explain it except for it's tragic that I'm like, oh, hey, here we go. Or like even trying to meet people out in public now, people are so connected to their phones that like you just don't go to a bar and hang out. You'll be like on your phone because it's like, oh, let's see who's in my pocket. What's better than what's in here right now?
True. Yeah, I've tried it. You know, you have to invest time in it. If it's something that you really want to do, then you know, yeah, you're on it all the time and you're looking at it and swiping right, swiping left, or whatever. I don't know. Right now, kind of just having fun doing my own thing, and you know, yeah, meeting people here and there. Usually being introduced to people, something like that. But I organically are talking about, you know, meeting people. I met my ex-wife in college. We're still friends, but you know, that was pretty organic. But you know, the whole social media thing. It's I don't know. It's just a different way of doing things. Yeah, you know, like you said, you think, oh gosh, you know, this sounds amazing, right?
Yeah.
This person sounds incredible.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you meet them and you're like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, was this it?
Right, I think, are you sure this is you? Like, is this from 3 years ago?
Right.
Troll.
Right.
Fake person.
Right.
Yeah.
But even if you want to talk about like the connection of relationships, I still feel like if you meet people organically, it's better than on an app because you still have no attachment to them. Like, I guess on occasion you'll hear people be like, oh, I met my significant other on Tinder. But I feel at the end of the day, you're so better off going out trying to find someone than on the internet.
How can we bring back that old-fashioned way of investing in people and not making it as superficial as social media and dating apps do?
Well, I know in a lot of the sports that I dabble in, they have singles events. There's a Sierra Ski League in Tahoe has a singles event where singles come and ski race, and it's a very low entry level, and it's more of a social program than actual race. And actually, most events, people are there more for the social than for the actual event anyways.
So look for the social events. Joe, you've been online. Your son signed you up for an online dating at one time. Your son did it, but what was that experience like for you?
Look at her expression like, oh boy.
My son actually, one person who came by to meet me, and we went out to have something to eat, and then in the way he talked and the way his whole persona was, he was interested in sexual things, and I was not. I mean, I didn't even know him, and I was very, very upset about that.
Hannah, there's also bad experiences online. You're not the only one.
You know what this just did? It gave me no hope whatsoever. Thanks, Joe. Like, these problems never go away.
Good conversation, everybody. We still have more to come on this special episode of Aging and Awesome.
A study found millennials are more stressed out about slow Wi-Fi or forgetting their phone charger than paying bills. We'll discuss this after the break.
Aging and Awesome is brought to you by Infinity Hospice Care, family owned and operated, serving Nevada for over 10 years. They provide dedicated, compassionate, expert care for your loved ones. Visit infinityhospicecare.com today.
Our story begins more than 60 years ago inside an abandoned chicken coop where our founder discovered a retired teacher living, no home, no health care. So she said no to this injustice and yes to transforming lives. It's this drive, this compassion that inspired AARP. Today, we empower people to choose how they live as they age. We advocate for health and financial security. We strengthen communities everywhere. We are AARP Nevada, creating real possibilities.
Life is story. Pages of amazing adventure and narrow escapes. Bold steps taken, races run, chapters on love and hard lessons and new beginnings. Your life, your legacy, our privilege to serve. Morningstar Senior Living.
Next week on Aging and Awesome, we celebrate Mother's Day with a story on caring for your mom from afar. And feeling good means looking good. Tune in next week at 7 p.m. on Channel 2 and live on Facebook.
Welcome back. It isn't easy being a millennial, or maybe it is. We're just really stressed out. According to a recent survey, 58% of millennials believe that life is more stressful now than it ever has been before. Here are some of the top stressors for millennials according to the survey. Number 1, losing your wallet or credit card, arguing with a partner, losing your phone, slow Wi-Fi, and phone battery dying. Now, these aren't necessarily exclusive to millennials. In the digital age, many people get stressed out by these different things, but these things weren't around, some of them 10 years ago even. Wi-Fi wasn't really a thing. Are these things such as Wi-Fi and smartphones, are they aging people faster?
I think so. I do, because I think there's a constant need to have to connect with people. You always have your phone with you, so you're like scrolling through it. So whether we want to admit to it or not, our phones are aging us.
Yeah, and kind of along the same lines as, connecting with people. I mean, I think that, a lot of people, I've been to concerts before, even when they've even stopped the concert and they said, put your phones away, enjoy the moment, and it's because people want to make sure that people know where they're at, what they're doing at all times, and then if they're not able to do that, I think that, that causes them a little bit of stress, it seems like, I don't know, I mean, I don't do that personally. In fact, I'm really bad about the social media thing, but yeah.
With any computer or phone or what have you, I get frustrated because I don't know enough and I don't slow down enough to learn. And it becomes very frustrating for my wife. Like, for instance, yesterday coming back into town, Siri and I were having an argument. I wanted an In-N-Out burger and she was trying to take me out to the cow pasture. So I got very frustrated with that.
Okay. Now, Bev, I know you're very savvy on your phone. And
Relatively savvy on my phone and on the internet, but my frustration is that my peers are not. And it's so difficult to keep. I have a group of 20 beanbag baseball players, 5 or 6 of which are not electronically savvy. So then when we make notifications of things, I have to make notifications several different ways to cover all these people, and it's pretty frustrating.
That's a pretty common struggle for a younger person too.
But even, you were talking about like managing your team, like think about in terms of work.
Yeah.
Like,
if someone doesn't have a blue phone, meaning the blue texting like an iPhone, they're green, you got to do different
Yes, but
ways.
even like, I've been here for how long now, and I probably have 17 text messages from one of my coworkers being like, hey, we need you to do this, this, and this. Like, gone are the days of like the 9 to 5 job where like you can disconnect at 5 o'clock and call it good. Now I can get a text at 9:30 at night being like, hey, we need you to quick do this before the show tomorrow morning. Like, okay, I'll do it right now, I guess.
That's
like,
aging all people faster.
You're always working.
Always working, always connected.
Well, the advantage of when you have your own business is you're able to get away because you have your phone. The disadvantage is you have your phone.
And you can't get away.
And I saw that with my group in Long Beach this week. It was like, there was times, someone's always missing because they get a business call. Well, you have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Well, I personally, I was in Europe one time. I was in Italy, and I was 7 months, and I did not have a phone. Period. I talked to people. I walked around. I met people. I read things. I read a lot. I didn't miss it at all. If I had an emergency, I knew there was a place I could go. It was like an emergency that I had to call back to the States, and I could do it. But other than that, I just enjoyed the freedom of being alive, and of course I'm in a different country, and everything was beautiful and new, and I just loved it. I loved not having connections. It was wonderful.
And I can see you doing that. I mean, can you all picture her?
Yeah.
Just really,
Whatever.
Yeah.
And things happen to you because you're there at a certain spot, and opportunities will happen, and you go, somebody goes, oh, well, I'm going to go, my daughter lives over in this little, would you like to see her? And I'm, yes. But see, we weren't afraid. That you know, you have to be savvy a bit, and you have to watch who you talk to, and it's like always, be in charge of yourself and be confident. And I'm fortunate, I never had one bad experience ever.
So when you hear about that a survey like that, do you think, well, that didn't stress me out when I was 20-something. What stressed you out then, and what stresses you out now?
20-something college, right?
Yeah.
You're making sure, getting through college. But now, paying bills, you know, I'm absolutely, you know, just making sure that everything is taken care of, and yeah.
Oh, nothing's ever stressed me out.
Of course, this one over here, yeah.
Especially being like, what do I do with my hands here? Are they supposed to be here? Are they supposed to be there?
What do we do?
Oh, you know,
First TV appearance.
Don't pick your nose, you know. Just, it's funny because we've been having with some friends some discussions on our history of growing up, and I was very fortunate to spend some time with some people down in Southern California yesterday. And this friend of mine, Don, he's 87, and he's more my dad than my dad was. And so we got to talk about, and he says, you're one of my sons, and which is very meaning. And so we talked about all the years about growing up and all the things we went through, and the stresses he had with his family, and the stresses as a new family, and what you do. And I mean, any of us have had children, you bring home that first baby, you go, what do you do with it?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I can't go on YouTube and see, because there was no YouTube then. You know, but stress is a part of life. And I think millennials, think there shouldn't be any, but guess what? That's part of life. Getting beat up is part of life. And basically, you gotta suck it up, Buttercup, if you're gonna make it through life.
You know, it's funny you bring that up, because I was talking to my coworker today about how there's like this movement amongst millennials to like get away from everything that they know and they grew up with. So now they want to be like minimalistic and literally live in a van for their whole life and camp around the world. And while like in theory that sounds cool, you're right. Like you have to have stress in life. That's part of life. I think the stressful times are what ultimately builds you up to the person you're going to become one day.
How'd you get so smart as such a young lady?
Thank you. Appreciate that. I have good genes.
I think the article that I read about aging and what stresses me out reminded me that it isn't the big things that stress me out. It's the little things that build up and build up. You know, this happened today, this happens tomorrow. Oh my gosh, how am I going to handle, just on and on and on.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all so much for your time. I'm bummed. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching Aging and Awesome. Got to give a huge thank you to Diane Ross at the Continuum. She's the CEO over there, and she thought of this wonderful idea to get together with people from varying age groups, and I thought it was brilliant, and I'm glad that she thought of it. Thank you, Diane.
We'll see you back here again next Saturday at 7 for an all-new episode of Aging and Awesome.
Have a great rest of your weekend.
1, 2, 3, listen.
Jolly good show.